Hi, today I wanted to talk a little bit about design and build companies versus hiring an architect and when to use one over the other. We often get approached by customers that are in the process of making that decision. So they've approached a couple of design and build companies, and then they reach out thinking they're a little bit unsure as to whether or not going with that is the right choice. Or we find people come to us once they've engaged in a design and build company and are feeling a little bit nervous about committing to the build and then need the help of an architect. So I thought I'd just cover that today. In a nutshell, so you may think I'm going to say that the architect is the only solution, and that is incorrect. There are some instances when a design and build company will be the right fit for you. And when we get inquiries about potentially doing a loft conversion or an extension, and we can gauge that the person isn't necessarily looking for design input or the expertise of an architect, we may well direct them to a design and build company. That's the first thing. For the design and build company, the solution typically works on a scale. So essentially they're looking to do multiple jobs, same sort of job everywhere. And so they have multiple teams doing a loft conversion all over your local area. And that's how they can make it cost effective for you. And so if you're looking for a cost effective solution, a design and build company may be the right way to go. Typically, though, that means that you get a basic entry-level package and the finishes are X and you are committing to X. Now, some of these design and build companies, they've got savvy to people wanting a little bit more bespokeness in their package. So they may upsell you other aspects, such as bathroom fittings of a slightly better grade, and things like carpentry and such like. Those upgrades can be expensive. Obviously, they have to make their money somehow. And often you're sort of committing to their limitation of their packages. So you might have a silver, bronze and gold package, and you're choosing from that. If you deviate away from that, any sort of exemptions, so sort of creative storage around a staircase, maybe that will be an extra on the package that you are paying for. So as long as you're very sort of typical, if you like, and you're not looking for a considered solution to suit your specific needs, a design and build package may well be the way to go, particularly with lofts. I think this works really well. If you're wanting a slightly more creative solution that kind of caters for your needs, looks at exploring how you will use the space, what you need out of it, where the light will come from and all those things, then perhaps an architect is a better fit for you. So with the design and build company, one of the other things to factor in is you have a one-stop shop for everything. So you're likely to have sort of an account manager or a sales manager of some sort, and they're going to be your person or point of call for every aspect of the project. You may never see the architect or designer through the course of the project because they are working on a numbers game. They are churning things out. Quite often they will allow sort of one conversation with the architect, because some of the design and build companies do hire architects, but you're likely to be finding that most of them are technicians, with one architect overseeing kind of the overall design process, and that is not always the case either. So just ask some of those questions if you are thinking about going with a design and build company. Where there can be pitfalls to that is because they're so used to doing the same thing over and over again, they don't often always keep abreast with legislative changes, particularly when the building regulations change and impact things like thermal performance and insulation thicknesses. Because they're working on economies of scale, changes like that may pass them by. So you want to make sure that they are keeping abreast with things. Currently, insulation thicknesses are far thicker than you'd expect for a loft conversion. And we're putting insulation on top of what we call a warm roof in excess of sort of 150 to 200 mil. And yet we still see things going on site that are significantly lower. So therefore not performing as well in the long run. Also be mindful with a design and build company that you may be tied in for the full duration of the works, from start to finish, on the payment of a small deposit and drawings being done. So the drawing fee might be very, very low because they're recovering that through the course of the build. And subsequently, you are almost committed. So we've had instances where a couple have come to us, sort of, they had the initial drawings done, they thought they weren't quite happy with them. They then asked us to do some sketch ideas and to develop the scheme a little bit further, and they found that they were tied in with this design and build company. So although we could do the sketches, they had to use the design and build company to do the build, and suddenly the price fluctuated because in order for them to get what they wanted and the design being a little bit more tailored, for them, the design and build company inevitably increase their prices from what they had committed to. So that's something, if you are looking for a little bit more of a considered solution, and this isn't necessarily just internal, but even externally, by considered, in order to maximize permitted development legislation, particularly on lofts, there are some creative solutions about the shape of the extension and how volume is calculated, because that's how permitted development loft works are done, that you just need to be wary of, that you're going to get a box on the back and a box on the front. So if you are looking for a more tailored solution, or if you live in a conservation area or a listed building, I would, genuinely say that an architect is a better way forward. But if you want a box on the back for a bedroom and a bathroom in your loft, then a design and build outfit is likely to be a good fit for you, subject to you having a clear sense of what you want on the inside and then driving that. And quite often that can include sort of, allowing yourself extra budget for doing things like carpentry and bespoke solutions, particularly around the eaves and storage, because that's where you want to maximize the space. So yeah, there is no one size fits all. A design and build solution will work for some people, but an architect may be better in other instances.